Okay, first and foremost, before I get into this, I want to say a huge thank you to my buddy GhostFreak66. If you guys don't watch him on Twitch, you should. He is an absolute technician of the game and has been a hell of a friend. Please go check him out on twitch.tv/GhostFreak66 because what I'm about to show you was something that he originally clued me in onto, and I've started down this rabbit hole. Okay, so the weapon mastery system in Tarkov is built in a way that is more or less purely cosmetic, or at least was up until very recently, and it seems as though BSG has implemented these changes without telling anybody about it, which honestly is kind of par for the course for BSG because that's how they do things. They always try to slip in some little hidden gem in one of these patches somewhere along the line and don't really tell anyone. It could also be that this system is only really partially engaged, or hell, I could be completely wrong, but based on what I'm seeing, they've modified the mastery system. So how it used to be was that mastery was a purely cosmetic deal. Everyone starts off every gun in the game at level 1 mastery, and then as you use the gun more and hit stuff with the gun, and I don't mean walls, I mean other entities, AI, people, players, whatever, every time that you make an impact with one of the projectiles from that gun, you get a point of mastery. That's how it works. To be very, very clear, I do not mean weapon skill. I mean mastery. It is a separate tab. Weapon skill is different. So we're not talking about like SMG skill or assault rifle skill or sniper skill. We're talking about mastery, right? So we're talking about individual firearms or sometimes groups of firearms. Weapon mastery has always had only 2 real properties associated with it. The main one was somewhere along the lines of either achieving level 2 or level 3. You would get a custom reload animation, so it would change how you reloaded the gun. And then secondarily, it would also allow you to reload the gun while you aimed down the sights. For every projectile that left the gun, every time that there was an impact, you would get a single point. So leveling something like shotguns, if you were using shotgun pellets or flechette rounds for 12 gauge, something like that, those pellets, each one of them counts as an individual impact, so you had the ability to get like 6 to 8 points every time that you hit someone, just as a matter of example. And then obviously the slowest thing to master would be snipers. Well, so again, my buddy Ghost Freak, who was the one that clued me into this, ended up seeing a post on Instagram from Kibba. I don't know whether or not Kibba actually wants to have his Instagram blown up in the case of people watching his Instagram for video game related stuff. As far as I can tell, Kibba has never posted anything about video game or Tarkov related stuff until now. Kibba is the person in charge of all of like the weapons system development in Escape from Tarkov. Basically, he's like the man when it comes to weapons stuff in Tarkov. That's his gig. So Kibba posted this, and this was taken from his Instagram. And what this is showing is a change to the weapon mastery system. In the top left is weapon mastery level 1 for a 12 gauge shotgun. The top right is weapon mastery level 2, and on the bottom is weapon mastery level 3. And what you are seeing is a difference in the visual recoil associated with each one of these guns. And I will say this again, it is visual recoil, not recoil of a gun. And I know that sounds really confusing, but I can explain this very easily. We'll put this really simply. This is the firearm that is aiming at the target, and then this little key thing is your head behind the gun. So every time you pull the trigger, gun fires, gun recoils, right? So there's the front of the gun, gun kicks up. Your head behind the gun shakes associated with that fire. So it fires and then your head kind of moves around, right? Left, right, up, down, whatever. Visual recoil is how much your head moves relative to the gun once it's fired. In order to be able to center your head, your eyes back on the sights to look at your target, it's going to depend on how drastic this visual recoil is. So when the game devs not too long ago, 6 months back, whatever, ended up doing a massive buff to the recoil system, visual recoil system in the game, this is the part that they were modifying. They were reducing how much head shake there was behind the gun when you pulled the trigger, so it was easier for you to keep your head tracked down the sights to keep on your target. So what the mastery system is doing is saying, well, now the recoil reduction behind the optic is going to be progressively reduced based on whatever level of mastery you have for a specific gun. Like your PMC is getting used to it over time. So with this post and the way that this is set up, the question was whether or not it was implemented in the game yet. So naturally, I went and did some testing. And in my case, since with the whole Scav Karma thing, I ended up resetting my account twice. Well, I started over on a different account once and then reset my account when I could, but whatever. I have level 1 mastery of something like a mutant. And since mutants are metaguns and everybody uses one, I figured there would be some chads running around that are going to have level 3 mastery, or level 2. And in this case, I ended up asking a couple of my buddies, in this case Bams for level 2 mutant, and Smitty Stone for level 3, to record something really quickly of them firing at a target in their hideout so that I could take a recording of it and put them all side by side. And this is what we get. Now, from left to right, what you are looking at is level 1 mastery, level 2 in the middle, and level 3 on the right. And you can clearly see on the left, level 1 mastery, that there is a lot of shake when I pull the trigger. And I understand the coloration is a little bit off. My hideout was level 2 and their hideouts are level 3, whatever. I asked these guys to build the exact same gun so that it had the exact same recoil stats and then fire at a target in the distance on the hideout so that we could look at the visual recoil amounts. On the left is level 1 mastery, my gun. In the center is Bams's gun at level 2, and on the right is Smitty Stone's at level 3. It doesn't appear that camera recoil is affected by recoil reduction from skills and the like. So in this case, weapon mastery is really the thing that we're looking at, which is the head shake from behind the reticle. Now on the left, you can see that it's moving around an awful lot. There's a lot of reticle drift. In the center, it's slightly less, but there is still some deviance, especially when you look at like left to right, because this is pretty much centered on the screen where the reticle is, and you can see that the box starts shifting from right to left in slow motion. On the far right is level 3 mastery, and it almost appears like the head or the camera that is affixed behind the optic is kind of like moving in unison with the recoil from the gun. It's pretty well stuck there behind it. Obviously, there is minimal drifting going on behind the box over on the right side image, and it seems as though that one is significantly more true to what is going on downrange at the target. Now, this is really preliminary testing that was done using just one weapon system, mainly because it's difficult to find other weapon systems at this point in time that are going to have people that have them mastered already. However, if you happen to be one of those people that has level 2 or level 3 mastery in some other weapon, I will try to do the best that I can to locate people where we could stack up 3 comparisons and see whether or not those things pan out as well. Because while this looks evidentiary, I would like to be able to continue to repeat this, to be able to prove it, and know beyond a shadow of a doubt whether or not this is actually in the game or not. No one from BSG's side said it was in the game, they just showed us what it looked like. Right now, it seems like Kiba is alluding to the fact that it's in the game. So to me, it looks like weapon mastery is absolutely affecting visual recoil. I'd like to be able to test this with just a couple of other weapon systems, so if you guys end up being one of those people that has another one of the weapon systems in the game that you've mastered, like level 2, level 3, something like that, maybe we could stack up some other people and see if we can get some really similar results and show that just, through repetition using other weapon systems, like indeed it is on. Anyway, guys, that's what I have for this one. Thank you so much to all of you for coming and checking this out. Thank you to the guys that ended up helping me do the tests. And thank you to Ghost Freak for cluing me into this. I will see you guys in the next one. Hope you all have a great weekend, whatever. And we'll see you real soon. Okay? Peace.